Today. What a beautiful day. Welcome to the Indiana State Fair. My name is Mark. I am the director of Take Flight Wildlife Education. I get to be the director because I'm the only one in the company, so that works. Okay, that's not entirely true. My wife and my son help a lot, but believe it or not, this is all I do. I go to schools and garden clubs and scout meetings and Renaissance fairs. Oh yeah, you should see me in tights. Okay, maybe not. But you know, go to a run it. I'm cutting out. There we go. I go to Renaissance fairs because, you know, then I can talk about the magnificent sport of falconry and then talk about science and conservation, which is the important part. And tonight we're going to talk about my favorite subject. Tonight we're going to talk about birds of prey, but first we're going to take the microphone. You guys should know, they do not live in these boxes all the time. This is just for travel. They're just modified dog crates. The windows are covered up, help the bird stay calm. There's a perch in there for the bird to sit on. They really don't mind going in the boxes at all. They feel pretty safe and secure in there. At my home, we have a great big building just for the birds. Each bird's got its own big chamber. Yes, they do live at my house, but they are not pets. That would actually be against the law. It's even against the law to have a feather from one of these birds without a federal permit. Yeah, that's a big deal. Oh, and I don't go out and catch birds. You guys can see them. All these birds were injured or orphaned or something happened to them. That's the only reason they live with me. Oops, sorry, show's over. Bird's asleep. Come on, Jack. Wake up, buddy. Need both feet. There's a good boy. No, just kidding. Sorry. This, my friends, is a red-tailed hawk. His name is Jack, but he doesn't know it. Well, he's a hawk. People are so strange about animals. We have a tendency to be anthropomorphic. You know what that means? It's got to be on the test. No, just kidding. Sorry. Now, anthro means human. So anthropomorphism is when we look at animals and we give them, you know, human characteristics that they don't really have. We do this in stories all the time, don't we? You know, the big bad wolf, and the three little pigs, and the wolf is the good guy. I'm sorry, the wolf is the bad guy, and the pigs are the good guys. Of course, in real life, you know, we eat pigs. So much for the good guys. There are no good guys and bad guys in the animal world. I'm not saying that animals don't have emotions. It's obvious they do. You guys don't want to see a mammal with emotions? All right, look at the person next to you. There you go, mammal with emotions. Obviously, animals have emotions, but this bird's not going to think of the world the same way that we do. So we name them and we talk about them being proud and majestic. Well, those are all human characteristics. If you really want to understand how cool this bird is, we want to look at the individual characteristics for survival, and those are called adaptations. Now, the first one, you know, people notice is that, oh, he was going to poop. Ready, aim, fire! Good job. All right. Oh, you notice I knew he was going to poop before he went. Years of experience. And then he stretched. I kind of like that. Seems familiar. Actually, that wasn't really a very good one. The hawks shoot their poop. And on a good day, he can go about 6 feet. Oh yeah, it's true. Here, you guys want to know why, right? Okay. Here's why hawks shoot their poop. First of all, we have to start at the beginning. The life cycle of the red-tailed hawk. Mom and dad hawk make a big stick nest up in a tree. People think of a nest as a home for birds. It's not. It's a nursery. It's just a place to raise babies because, you know, eggs don't fly. So they've got the big nest in the tree. The mom sits on the eggs for the most part, and the eggs hatch after about 30 days. Then you've got fuzzy little white baby hawks in the nest. But they grow super fast. They go from fuzzy little baby hawk to full-sized in 6 to 8 weeks. Yeah, 2 months, they're full grown. Is that bizarre? Oh, check this out. With birds of prey, females are bigger than males. So if Jack were going to be a dad, his own daughter would be bigger than he was before she left the nest the first time. Is that bizarre? Yeah, they have a completely different kind of life cycle than what we're used to. They grow up really fast. But they don't have those brick red tail feathers the first year. See how he's got those red tail feathers? That's why they're called a red-tailed hawk. Well, they don't get that until they're a year old. A young red-tailed hawk, when it leaves the nest, full grown, has light brown tail feathers with dark brown stripes. And then when they're about a year old, they molt. You guys know what molting is? So they lose their old feathers and grow new ones in. You don't see naked birds running around. They don't lose them all at once. They lose a few at a time, those grow back in, they lose a few more, and that's when they get the brick red tail feathers. If I were to look at Jack right now for the first time, I could not tell you how old he was. I could look at his tail feathers, I see he's got some growing in, some new ones, I can see he's got some old ones from last year, so I can tell you that he's at least 2 years old, because he's still got old red tail feathers, right? They only have the striped ones for the first year. But I can tell you how old Jack is, because when I first met this bird, he had striped tail feathers. They only have that for 1 year, so I knew he was a young bird. That was 27 years ago. Yeah, Jack's a 27-year-old red-tailed hawk. He doesn't look a day past 16, does he? Actually, can't tell, sorry. Oh, you guys want to hear a funny story? Absolutely true. About a year ago, I was at a buddy's house, a falconer, and he had an old photograph that he had taken of me and this bird from like 20 years ago. You guys ever seen a picture that was on paper? I know it's kind of before your time. All right. Had this little piece of paper with my picture on it from 20 years ago with me and this bird. And I looked at the picture, and I was skinny. Yeah, that's been a while. My beard was dark brown, my hair was dark brown. Bird looked exactly the same. That's not fair. He looks the same, I look like Santa Claus. Anyway, but that's how they grow up. So if they're in, back to the poop. If you're a baby hawk in the nest for 6 weeks pooping the whole time, that'd be disgusting. So as soon as a baby hawk can walk around, they back up, lift their tail, and they shoot over the side. Hey, if you lived there, that would make you happy. Falcons, on the other hand, falcons poop straight down. You know why? It's because they don't make a big stick nest up in a tree. Most falcons lay their eggs on the edge of a cliff. Well, think about it. If you're a baby falcon, you're sitting on the edge of a cliff, you poop straight down, who cares? Look out below. So guess which kind of bird my wife doesn't mind in the house? Yeah, falcon. If I get a new falcon, I can sit there watching TV, put a piece of paper down, bird poops straight down, no big deal. Hawk hits the walls. She hates that. You think I'm kidding, but I'm not. All right. So the adaptations, besides having a red tail for showing how old he is, the adaptations of this bird really tell us what he does for a living. He is, of course, a bird of prey, and you realize that when I say bird of prey, I do not mean they go to church on Sunday. Bird of prey, that's a bad joke, sorry. No, bird of prey is a predator, superbly designed by nature to kill and eat small, cute animals. Okay, that sounds bad too. It's basically true, though. It doesn't make him a bad guy, it just makes him a predator. And people have thought the birds of prey have been cool for thousands of years because they're so good at it. The first adaptation that most people recognize about the red-tailed hawk is the wickedly hooked beak. The one right next to my face. No. People always say, hey Mark, does it hurt when that bird bites? I don't really know. Hawks rarely bite for self-defense. Most birds do. I've worked with a lot of parrots. When a parrot bites, it's really unpleasant. Once a parrot's adaptation, it's got a nutcracker for a beak. So when a parrot bites, it really lays one on you. Eagles, hawks, falcons, kites, harriers, it would hurt, but their beak is not really a crushing beak like a parrot's beak. His beak is simply to rip flesh into bite-sized pieces. What a pleasant thought. So if this bird felt he had to defend himself from me, he wouldn't bite me, he would foot me. The feet are the business end of a bird of prey. That's how they kill their prey, that's how they defend themselves. See, I'm wearing this big heavy glove, this gauntlet. That's not because Jack is thinking to himself, oh man, if he wasn't wearing that glove, I'd get him. No. I'm wearing the glove because when I walk around, it's like a tree swaying in the breeze. Hawks do that all the time. He's holding on so it doesn't fall off. If I wasn't wearing a glove, that would hurt. He's got incredibly sharp talons, the claws, and very strong legs and feet. That's how they kill their prey. Now, it's kind of hard to see his talons against my glove because they're both dark, but if I stick my thumb under here, you can see his talons are needle sharp, just as sharp as little points can be. Okay, now wait a minute. I just stuck my bare thumb underneath the hawk's talon for your entertainment. That might not have been the smartest thing I've ever done. And yet, apparently, I'm still alive. Is Jack trying to go through my thumb right now? No. Could he? Oh, you all say yes, like you know. Well, you're right. He could. He could go right through my thumb. But that's all right, because piercings are in these days. Oh, so that'd be a really hard way to go, though, wouldn't it? If you like one of those lip piercings, just one now. No, Jack's not trying to go through my thumb for two good reasons. Reason number one, he's not afraid of me. Fear is the number one reason why any animal might try to hurt you. If I were driving along and I saw an injured hawk by the side of the road and I leapt out of my van going, oh, you poor innocent woodland creature, I'll save you. And I grab the hawk and I hug the hawk and I kiss the hawk on the head. Oh, that'd be bad. Because hawks don't speak English. I have to be really careful with a bird like that. Jack and I, though, have been working together for 27 years. He's obviously not afraid of me, doesn't think this is a dangerous situation, so he's not trying to hurt me. The second reason why Jack does not try to kill me, and this is just as important, Jack does not realize that I'm edible. Think about it. When you're working with predators, that's the last thing you want for them to know. You don't want them to look at you and go, wait a minute, you're big and slow, and you look tasty. That would be bad. But Jack doesn't think like that, so we're all right. Hooked beak to rip up the food, sharp talons to kill his prey. How does he find his food? Eyesight. You've heard of being eagle-eyed or hawk-eyed. It's absolutely true. When you see a red-tailed hawk soaring in the clouds, that bird can see a mouse on the ground. I am not kidding. This bird can look at your eyelash or see a mouse a quarter mile away. You know their eyeballs are not even round? If you were to pluck your eyeball out and look at it, and they don't recommend that, it's very round. And you have muscles attached to your eyeball go up and down and side to side. This bird doesn't have that. It's a big bulge in the back and a smaller bulge in the front. What you see of his good eye, the one on this side, is the small part. It gets bigger back in his skull. His eyes are huge. If he wants to look at something, his eyes don't move. He has to turn his whole head, doesn't he? See him looking around? All right. You'll also notice when you look at eagles and hawks, they look like they're pretty much in a bad mood all the time. Don't they? They always look like this. Yes, I know, but they're not. Here, everybody go like this. Come on, very good. And why would you do this except for the fact that I asked you? To keep the sun out of your eyes, right. Well, you can't do this and flap your wings at the same time. Well, you can't. So eagles and hawks have this bony ridge over their eyes. It makes them look fierce, mean, proud, ha-ha. It's not there for that at all. It's just another adaptation. Keeps the sun out of his eyes because red-tailed hawks hunt during the day. You folks don't know what red-tails eat, right? You know, dogs, cats, small children. No, I'm just kidding, but thanks. No, they prey primarily on small ground-dwelling mammals, mice and rats and ground squirrels primarily, although a hawk this size might take something as big as a rabbit, which is pretty impressive because Jack only weighs about 2 pounds. He also takes snakes and lizards, even occasionally other birds, but if the red-tail's going to catch another bird, he's probably going to catch it on the ground. He's not built for high-speed dives to catch a bird in flight. That's what falcons do. He's not built for quick turns to catch a bird in the woods, so the Cooper's hawk does. A red-tailed hawk is built to soar and glide, use that fantastic eyesight, find things hiding in the grass. And I got to tell you real quick why Jack lives with me. You guys probably already noticed. If you look at his face, you see how one eye is big and bright and shiny? That's his good eye. The other one's all small and sunk in. That's his blind eye. Jack is completely blind on the left side. We don't know exactly how it happened. He was injured in the wild as a young hawk. Probably ran into something, crushed the side of his skull. Would have died for sure. Somebody just happened to find him. They took him to a wildlife rehabilitator, to a veterinarian, got him all fixed up, but with only one eye, they couldn't save the eye. So with only one eye, he's got really lousy depth perception. You see, it takes 2 eyes facing the same way to tell your brain how far away something is. It's called binocular vision. Primates, such as ourselves, and lots of predators, bears, wolves, big cats, all those guys have that. Eyes facing forward tells your brain how far away something is. It's really important if you're a predator. If you're a hawk coming out of a tree to catch a mouse, you pretty much want to know where the ground is. Puh, that'd be bad. So, binocular vision is important for those guys. Think about a prey species, a pigeon or a duck or a rabbit or a deer. Where are their eyes? Side of their head. Gives them wide angle vision. That's a good deal because if you're a rabbit, everyone sneaking up behind you is trying to kill you. So eyes on the side for prey, eyes facing forward for predators. With only one eye, Jack's simply not very good at that. When I first trained Jack to fly to my glove all those years ago, he would miss and land on my head. Oh yeah, loads of fun. He has learned to compensate. He does not do that anymore, but he'll never be able to survive on his own in the wild, and quite frankly, it's kind of sad. Seeing a hawk in the wild, best place to see one. But since he can't do that, he's pretty good at this. I consider him an ambassador, a wild animal we can meet up close and learn about, and he doesn't seem to mind. So we're not going to fly him loose, but I will let him jump over to the glove to get something to eat. You guys just see the hawk eat? All right, yeah, let's give it a shot. Jack, perch. Good boy. All right. Well, after 27 years, you should know something. Come on. All right. Walking closer is cheating if you're a hawk. Okay, we're going to feed Jack his favorite snack, which of course is a dead mouse. Now, if you do not want to watch a hawk eat a dead mouse, then don't watch. I don't care. But if as the young scientist that I know you are, you might be thinking to yourself, why, yes, I would like to see a hawk eat a dead mouse, ripping it up into bite-sized pieces and throwing the guts all over. That's fine. However, we still want to maintain a relatively calm demeanor. No yelling and screaming. Even Jack the Wonder Hawk might get nervous if we do that. You guys think he knows? You guys didn't know you could speak hawk, did you? All right, one dead mouse coming in. Yes, there's a dead mouse in my pocket. Just wait a minute. There we go. One dead mouse. He's got the dead mouse. It was already dead, but now it's really dead because that was the head. There goes a front leg and part of the liver. That's interesting. I'm not sure what that was. There's the other front leg. There's rib cage. Oh, there's the stomach. There's, oh, more liver. Oh, and there's some intestines. That's where all the vitamins are, you know. There we go. More intestines. There's the rest down the hatch. That didn't take long. No. Most audiences don't clap for that. That's a gruesome kid. That's all right. What I do find interesting is, I feed Jack in front of people for every show, and I always hear that, oh yeah, oh grouse, but you know what? I have seen people eat before. It's not a pretty sight. This bird, no blood, no mess, no pollen, didn't flick any guts on the audience. He just ate. It's just the way it is. And then I hear people go, oh, that poor little mouse. And then they go to hamburger. They don't go, oh, that poor little cow. Animals eat other animals all the time. It does not make them bad guys. It just makes them predators. Or in your case, scavengers. Yeah, if you don't kill it yourself, you're not a predator. That doesn't count. Look, he's wiping off his beak. He does that every time. Isn't that cool? Good boy, Jack. How about? Thank you. Now, Jack is a red-tailed hawk. Why is he a red-tailed hawk and not a red-tailed falcon? Well, the difference between a hawk and a falcon is not size, it's not color, it's shape and design. There's big hawks and small hawks, big falcons and small falcons, brown hawks and gray hawks, and brown falcons and gray falcons. Are we all confused? The difference is in size, it's not color, it's shape. Hey, you, what's your name?
Hannah.
What is it?
Hannah.
Hannah, come here. Thank you for volunteering. You don't remember volunteering, do you? That's all right. I just need your help for a minute. You take that big one there on the bottom. I'll take the little one. I just hold it up so everybody can see it, please. Hannah. Turn around. There you go, very good. All right, perfect. Oh, actually, let's do this side. Oh, wait, no, how about this side? Oh, how about this side? This is called picking on Hannah. I'm sorry. No, you're doing a great job. We have here the cutout shapes of two birds of prey in flight. One's the shape of a hawk, and one's the shape of a falcon. Now, before you guess, you don't need to guess because you already know the answer because you know what hawks eat. Might be a snake, a mouse, a lizard, or a rabbit, but all those things are on the ground. Well, think about that. If you're trying to find a mouse hiding in the tall grass, and you are zipping across the field at breakneck speed, you're gonna starve to death. You'd never find it. So hawks don't do that. They soar, they glide, they use their fantastic eyesight to find things hiding in the grass. Now, I'm not saying that hawks are lazy. They are not. With my own eyes, I've seen a red-tailed hawk come out of a tree, fly 75 yards over field, pumping hard, pitch up, fold her wings, tuck in, crash into a 6-foot-tall thorn bush, and catch the rabbit that was underneath it. Yeah, that's not a lazy bird. That's a tough bird. But they're not built for speed, they're built to soar. Falcons, on the other hand, well, falcons are built for speed because falcons mostly eat other birds. Well, it's easy to find a bird, you see them all the time, but they're not easy to catch. If you want to catch another bird, you've got to be faster than they are, and falcons are. So knowing that a hawk is built to soar, and a falcon is built for speed, that's very exciting. Everybody point at the shape of the falcon. Which one looks faster? Which one looks like a jet? Which is all sharp and pointy? Which is on this side? Very good. Long pointed wings, high speed dives, big or small, brown or gray, shaped like this, shaped like a falcon. So everybody point to the hawk. He's sitting right here, red-tailed hawk. It's the first thing I told you. Now you write this one. Hannah's got the shape of the hawk. Big broad wings to soaring and gliding. Soaring hawk, speedy falcon, and now you know the difference. Give her a hand. Very good job. Thank you very much, Hannah. I appreciate it. All right, Jack, that's a good boy. All right, we'll put Jack back in the box. That's not why his name is Jack. Jack in the box. No, his name is Jack because he's blind in one eye. Like a deck of cards, he's a one-eyed Jack. Yeah, sorry. Such a boy. Small. Now, when you were small, everything in the world is big and scary. So she does get a little nervous sometimes. Let's see how she does. Come on, Flo. There you go. This, my friends, is an American kestrel. She is full grown. This is as big as she will ever get. She's actually 1 year older than my son, so she's 14 years old this year. That's a pretty old little kestrel. She's only weighs 5 ounces, just as big as kestrels get. Her name is Fluffy. I know, it's a horrible name for a bird of prey, sorry. So here's your test. Who thinks the American kestrel is a small hawk? Possible. Who thinks the American kestrel is a small falcon? Possible. Who's not willing to guess because you don't have enough information? Don't you wish every test was like that? Is it A, B, or C? I don't know. Well, kestrels are in fact kind of tricky. Like a hawk, they catch most of the food on the ground, grasshoppers and mice primarily. But like a falcon, they will catch small birds in the air. So what does that tell us? Absolutely nothing. Where do they nest? A hawk makes a big stick nest up in the tree, falcons in the edge of a cliff. What do kestrels do? They don't do either. They nest in old woodpecker holes in dead trees and will happily use a man-made nest box. If you have any kind of meadows or fields near your house, you get these birds nesting right on your property. So there's only one sure way to tell the difference between a hawk and a falcon, and that is the shape of their wings. If I look at the wings, are they big and broad or long and pointy? Long and pointy. That makes her a falcon. Very good. The American kestrel is the smallest type of falcon found in North America. Do not be fooled by their small size. I was. When I was a young lad, reading books about hawks and falcons, and yes, I did, I thought kestrels are kind of wimpy. You know, they eat grasshoppers and mice. They didn't seem very falcon-like. They hover next to the highway looking for mice. And it's true they do those things. But when they want to hunt hard, they really can. I once saw a wild kestrel kill a starling. You guys know what a starling is? Little black speckly bird, same size she is. That's tough. I once saw a wild kestrel on top of a great big metal power tower, one of those ones out in the country. And that wild bird is up there bobbing her head. You guys all notice Fluffy bobbing her head? All right, well, when she bobs her head, she's not agreeing with me. She's triangulating. She's getting a reading from high and a reading from low, and her little brain is calculating distance every time she does that. And when that wild kestrel was doing that, I thought maybe she's going to fly down and kill something. And I'm a guy, I thought that'd be cool. Death hurt. But instead of flying down to the ground like I expected, she just leveled off and kept going. And man, she was eating the sky. I watched that little bird go across this enormous, huge field, used a row of bushes to hide her approach. It was pretty cool. Barrel rolled over the bushes and tried to catch an English house sparrow by somebody's bird feeder. I didn't see whether she caught it, but I was so impressed, I paced off the distance. And from the power tower to the bushes, I'm guessing it was about 300 yards. 3 football fields. Hey folks, if you see a sparrow 300 yards away and you think you can catch it, you're a falcon. Nobody else would even consider that kind of distance. So she may be tiny, but they are a true falcon. All right. Now I'm not having any luck at the state fair this year with Fluffy keeping her head. Oh, see, Fluffy. Anyway, but not only do they bob their head to judge distance, they can also do the opposite. She can keep her head still while her body is moving. This is handy if she's on a branch on a blowing tree and she's trying to keep track of something. So let's see if I can get one. Sometimes she's so focused I can get her body to work in a circle. But there's too many things to look at out here. Got it? There we go. Now we all laugh at that. Oh, it's all right. We all laugh at that, but think of what an amazing adaptation that is. Falcons even do that in flight. So as a falcon is diving at tremendous speeds from high in the sky, their body is twisting and turning, her head stays focused on the prize. It's a pretty amazing adaptation. So you guys know her name is Fluffy, right? You want to know her full name? It's Fluffy the Sparrow Slayer. Sorry. All right, pretty girl. Red-tailed hawk are both diurnal, active during the day. There's obviously nocturnal, nighttime birds of prey as well. Those are the owls. Cool thing about owls, every type of owl has a different call. So if you're not camping in the woods and not hear an owl hoot, you can tell what kind it is. That's handy because owls are hard to see. So you guessed it, to help you out, gotta do some owl calls for you. Hey, everybody's gonna have a hobby. All right, here's what you're listening for. If you hear this one, you ever heard that from a tree before? Little tiny owls. As a matter of fact, that same owl has a different call. They also sound like this, same bird. Who said horse? No, a horse goes like this. It's very different. But if you hear that little whinny up in the tree, it's a screech owl. Full-grown screech owls are that big, a little bitty owl. If you hear this one, this is the one the old bird books say. They go, "Who cooks for you? Who cooks for you all?" I'm not making this up. All the bird books say that. But they sound more like this. Who cooks for you? Who cooks for you all? That's a barred owl. B-A-R-R-E-D, barred as in stripes. But if you hear this one, one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a great horned owl. And that's the kind of owl I'd like you guys to meet. You wouldn't think a bird as big and as tough as a great horned owl would be shy, but she's just as shy as the other birds. You want to come out, pretty girl? There you go. It's all right. That's a cool bird. This bird's lived with me for about 16 years, and every time I pick her up, I go, man, that's a cool bird. Great horned owl, found right here in Indiana, relatively common species. You just don't see them very often because they're beautifully camouflaged. I mean, good one should be hard to see up in a tree in the shadows. And also, of course, usually nocturnal, so they're not out when we are. Now you can see why they're called a great horned owl. They look a little bit like they have horns because of these feathers on their head. They're certainly not horns, and they're not ears either. They're just feathers. Being a nighttime bird, she's got a completely different set of adaptations for survival. Huge eyes. Those huge eyes pick up any light that might be available. She can see in the dark like 100 times better than... Can you look at the audience at least once? Oh, there we go. Huge eyes. Those huge eyes pick up any light. Think about it like this. I'm a much larger species of animal than she is, right? I outweigh her by hundreds of pounds. And yet her eyes are as big as mine. It's kind of a trip, isn't it? If you wanted to see in the dark as well as this bird for our size body, your eyes would be the size of a softball or a grapefruit. That'd be a good look, wouldn't it? Huge eyes to pick up any light. They've also got spectacular hearing, but this is more confusing because you can't see her ears. Birds have ears, they're good hearing, but they're usually covered up by feathers, and so are hers. Her ears are right next to her eyes. They're underneath the feathers, but the wide, flat face of the owl is like doing this with both hands all the time. It's literally like having a satellite dish for a face. That wide, flat face allows her to hear better, well, as far as picking out the source of the sound, better than any other animal in the world. My favorite adaptation, though? Silent flight. You ever heard a pigeon or a duck, or if you're lucky, a falcon fly close to you? They make a lot of noise because they have hard, stiff feathers. Hard, stiff feathers make more noise. Flap, flap, flap. Owls have soft, fuzzy feathers. When they flap their wings, it doesn't make any noise. They're not quick like a hawk. They're not fast like a falcon. They're silent. They literally sneak up on their prey. Whereas a hawk is a pursuit hunter chasing the rabbit. She just waits for the rabbit to come by, scratch its face, go, gee, what'll I do tonight? Boom, dead. That's how an owl hunts. It's all about stealth, pursuit. Good girl. And look at the size of the feet on this bird. Holy schmoly, they're huge. It's not the biggest owl in the world, but it is one of the toughest. These great horned owls have been known to take stuff as big as a wild turkey or a Canada goose. It's not typical, but they have done it. They are the only predator that routinely goes after skunks. Oh yeah, fantastic eyesight, incredible hearing, no sense of smell. So she doesn't care. She doesn't care what skunks smell like. What's an owl's favorite food? What do all owls like to eat? Don't tell me. Mice, absolutely. Big owls, small owls, they all like to eat mice. I use my mouse with the hawk. Does anybody happen to have a dead mouse with them? No? Oh, come on, it's a state fair. Nobody brought... Oh, fine, I brought a spare. I just have to be sure to check my pockets before I do my laundry. That's not really a joke. Here we go, one more dead mouse. I buy these by the pound froze, but it's thawed out now. Well, it thaws out pretty quick in your pocket on a day like today. All right, who wants to see the owl eat the dead mouse? Who does not want to see the owl eat the dead mouse? Too bad, close your eyes. Everybody's got to eat. Minerva has got the dead mouse. It's gone. It doesn't take her long. The tail goes down last. I call that beak floss. That is my worst joke, and you laughed at it. That's not good. They swallow their prey whole, the undigestible stuff, bones, fur, teeth, they cast back up on a pellet. You guys have all heard of owl pellets? Lots of birds do that. They cast up pellets of insect exoskeletons, of fish scales. It's just a natural thing for birds to do. All right, a couple more quick owl facts for you. You guys have all seen her turn her head straight back, right? Her head does not go around and around and around. The hawk does the same thing, nobody notices. But it looks bizarre for an owl because her neck is only that big around. The rest is all feathers. She just has more neck bones than you do. So when she turns her head, it's just natural. But here, let me show you something. When I touch her here, poke, 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 nothing. Touch her here. My finger goes all the way in. That's all just feathers. So you can say that's a small thing. And finally, you've all heard the term wise old owl. I hate to tell you this, it's very misleading. Owls are not even smart compared to other birds. Some birds are super smart. Crows and ravens, spooky smart. Parrots, very intelligent. Vultures, surprisingly smart. Owls, not so much. She doesn't have to be smart. She can see in the dark. She can fly without making any noise, and she can hear better than anybody. Owls eat smart animals all the time. You guys got a great big brain. You go running in the woods and I boom, right into a tree. Everybody's got their own adaptations. Hers is not wisdom, it's everything else. All right, pretty girl, we'll go back in the box. There you go. Well, as I said, people have thought the birds of prey have been cool for thousands of years. I think what gets us most about birds of prey is their absolute mastery of the air. So I do want to fly a bird loose for you. She can go anywhere she wants. When we're at the state fair, she's used to going up to the shade. That's fine. It's kind of hard for you guys to get to see long flights, but that's fine. That's cool. She's flying around loose. She can go anywhere she wants. So here are the rules. If you are in a seat, I need you to stay in your seat while the bird's out. No standing up, no walking around. Very serious. Rule number 2, keep your hands down. Do not reach up and try to touch that bird as she flies by you. They don't like it. It's not safe. Hands down. Promise? And rule number 3, if the bird flies right over your head, you look up, keep your mouth shut. All right, rule number 3 is a joke. Nobody ever gets pooped on during the bird show. If you guys are standing, that's fine. Just stay where you are. All right? Now, have you guys been hearing this bird making all this noise? Hear that? Yeah, she's not. This is a Harris hawk. Harris hawks are not native in Indiana. It's a desert and scrubland bird from the Southwest. But the unique thing about Harris hawks is they're social. They actually hunt like a pack of wolves. And social animals chat to each other. Well, she thinks I'm part of the group. So whenever she hears my voice, she thinks, oh, I need to let him know where I am. Basically, that's a hawk going, oh, I hear you. I'm over here. Let's go kill something. Well, that's pretty much what hawks think all the time. If she gets mad, she does this. It's a big difference, you can tell. There you go. Hold on. This is a Harris hawk. These guys are, as I said, a desert and scrubland bird from the Southwest. Good bit. See how she holds her wings out over the glove? That's a hawk like mine, 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 all mine. You weren't going to steal her mouse, were you? I didn't think so. Okay. Also, the wind kind of picked up, but she only weighs, you gotta look up, baby. She only weighs 2 pounds too, so this wind makes a difference for her. Yeah, that was the back half of the mouse with the back half of the mouse with the tail. Now, Harris hawks are unique for a couple of reasons. As I said, they're social. They literally hunt like a pack of wolves. No other birds of prey do this. This 2-pound bird might go after a 10-pound jackrabbit. She couldn't do that by herself. The whole family wouldn't help her. It'd be like wolves going after a moose or a caribou. It's the only bird that does that. Ready? Good. Not only do they hunt cooperatively, they actually have, scientists have been studying these birds. And they hunt in several different techniques. They'll either all just hunt together, all like a wolf, all get together, but they will even use some complicated stuff. Harris hawks have been known to use relays, whereas a bunch of Harris hawks will be sitting on the cactuses, one will start chasing a jackrabbit will wear that hawk out, right? Well, then another hawk takes over. So each hawk takes turns running that rabbit. That's pretty amazing. That's like a very, very big social skill. They also will use ambush, whereas if a rabbit gets into a cactus or a hole, one of the Harris hawks will go in there and chase it out for the rest of the Harris hawks to catch. No other birds of prey do that. There you go. This, by the way, is why I can fly a Harris hawk here at the state fair, and she's focused on me because I'm a member of the group. Jack would be looking off in the distance, going, maybe I'll go over there. You got everything? Oh, there's all kinds of stuff left on the glove, Dave. The other thing is, we didn't know we were going to be here today, so I did a show on Sunday, and I gave her a lot of extra food because we weren't going to be back until Thursday. So when the DNR called me and said, hey, can you come tomorrow? I was like, I really need to go see if the Harris hawk wants to go. But she's fine. I know it's windy. You can do it. There you go. How about one more good one? You want to wait till I call you? She's following me. One of the problems is since I'm wearing a microphone, she can't really hear me. You serious? Why don't you go back down to the perch, babe? You can see me. Thank you. Good girl. She did not go to the perch because I told her to, by the way. That just made me look really smart, didn't it? That's all right. Oh, honesty is important. The other thing people should know is she's not starving. A falconer does not starve a bird to make him want to come to you. That's counterproductive. These birds have to be in great physical shape. Falcons, a guy flies a falcon, it's a speck in the sky, does this tremendous stuff. They're all muscle. It's just a matter of training. It's positive reinforcement. We're used to making horses and dogs. Do we want them to do? You can't do that with a hawk. They kind of have to want to. You want to wait till I call you? All right, there's a piece of food. Perch. Great. There's the Harris hawk. Okay, I know she's not an eagle, but is that cool or what? Of all the birds I work with, this last one is the most high-strung and nervous. It's not your fault. She was injured in the wild as an adult. As far as she's concerned, people are big and scary. So I'm going to feed her right away. Now she's eating. It helps keep her a little distracted. I don't even know how old she is. She was injured as an adult in the wild, and she's lived with me for about 14 years. She barely tolerates me. Now, it's a falcon, not a hawk, so I tend to feed her birds. You know, that's what falcons eat. Usually cute little dead baby chickens. Yeah, happy Easter. But I'm out of cute little dead baby chickens, so she's getting mouse. It's not her favorite, but it's what I've got. You've now all been cussed at by a peregrine falcon. Pretty famous bird of prey, the peregrine. Unfortunately, one of the reasons the peregrines are so famous is they've been on the endangered species list for about 30 years. You guys know why peregrines became endangered in the first place? It was the overuse of a pesticide called DDT. Now wait a minute, how in the world is putting poison on plants to kill bugs mess with the 200-mile-an-hour falcon that doesn't eat insects? Well, peregrine falcons eat other birds. Birds eat insects, insects eat plants. The poison on the plants works up the food chain, affects peregrine falcons. When it rains, that same poison gets washed into creeks and streams, affects the fish. Bald eagles and ospreys eat fish. Boom, they're on the endangered species list for the same reason. How bizarre is that? We put poison on plants to kill bugs, and it messes with our national symbol. You bet it does. That's because in nature, everything is connected to everything else. You know, I know that sounds like philosophy. It sounds like a t-shirt, doesn't it? We are part of nature. Yeah, right. That's not philosophy. That's science. In nature, everything is connected to everything else. That's how it works. And so are you. And that's why I want you to meet these really cool birds. Before it was too late, people started doing something about it. Modern falconers got together with the government, with scientists, bred these birds in captivity, released the young into the wild, made DDT illegal, and it worked. It took 30 years, but the peregrine falcon is now doing so well, they've been able to take them off the endangered species list. There's a breeding pair in downtown Indianapolis. How cool is that? Folks, we did not have peregrines come back to Indiana. They weren't here before. This is a mountain range, primarily coastal cliff nesting bird. This is Indiana. But we have those big tall buildings, and that's close enough. And sure, they eat pigeons, but any bird smaller, thank you, any bird smaller than a mallard duck is fair game for a peregrine. It's good news, folks. Not just because we like them, not just because they go 200 miles an hour and eat pigeons. It's because it's the top of the food chain. It indicates environmental health. And like them, we rely on a healthy environment. Folks, learn about nature whenever you possibly can, because no matter what you ever do, you're always part of nature too. And with that in mind, I thank you folks for having me at the State Fair. You guys stay on the ground, I'll stay on the stage, get a close look, I'll be glad to answer your questions. Have a wonderful day, folks. Take care. She would eat mouse and rats if I have them, but that's not her favorite. Wild peregrine falcons, where they live out in the wild where they belong, they eat mostly birds. So they catch all kinds of small birds.
And what do sharp-shinned hawks eat mostly?
They're also bird eaters. Small songbirds primarily.
Oh.
But that's good. They kill the old, the sick, the weak, and the stupid.
Okay.
You know, people who come to me and they say, hey, there's a Cooper's hawk killing those pretty little red cardinals. What do I do about it? My bird feeder? You don't want to stop that. First of all, it's a bird feeder. But second of all, you've got a whole bunch of birds at your bird feeder, then a disease gets spread really easily. You know, you go in the wild, you never see 10 different species all eating together in a 6-foot circle.
Right.
That only happens in a bird feeder. So because of that, disease spreads. You want Cooper's hawks in there killing those sick birds.
Okay.
Yeah. Her name is Guinevere, but she doesn't know it. I named after Queen Guinevere because if they don't treat her like a queen, she gets all ticked off. She gets mad, yep.
Was she injured?
This bird's got a crippled left. She was injured in Ohio.
Just got a comment. I saw a red-tailed hawk kill a full-size crow.
Oh, yeah.
Under my bird feeder the other
Yep,
day.
on the ground.
I saw it get it. And it carried it off. And it was like a struggle. But that's a pretty big bird.
Well, they'll take crows.
Yeah.
I've hunted pheasants with red tails before.
Yeah.
The thing about crows is they're very smart and very agile, very hard to catch.
Yes.
But, you know, there's young, stupid ones out right now. They just left the nest.
It's full grown, but it's
Exactly.
a big bird, you know.
Yeah, crows are tough. I saw a red-tailed hit a crow in the air one time. It was very bizarre. Several crows were harassing a female red-tail, like really harassing her. And her mate, was way above him. They didn't see him coming. He nailed one of them, and even did the cry. You know, smacked it, pitched up.
Yeah.
He didn't do that for food. He was ticked.
Yeah.
Leave the girl alone.
Why do those little birds follow the big hawks around?
That's called mobbing. Little tough songbirds, red-winged blackbirds, grackles, blue jays. If they're strong and healthy, they don't have much to worry about, right? And if you see the predator first, you can stay behind it, be annoying, and just kind of protect the territory in general. Crows will mob hawks, red-winged blackbirds will mob crows. It's just a great behavior to kind of keep predators off balance. But, you know, as soon as that hey, I was a dad, I've done worse than that. So, you know, it's just a great altruistic behavior, this protect your territory. You know, a Cooper's hawk kills little birds, but you see little birds chasing Cooper's hawk because it needs stealth, it needs surprise, it needs not to have the same coming. I raise homing pigeons, I see Cooper's hawks all the time.
I used to do that.
Yeah, they get rid of my slow homers. They've gone right into the pigeon loft and killed a pigeon in the loft. Cooper's hawks are very agile.
If you put a dead mouse out at your bird feeder, would they start coming to eat?
Very
or
unlikely.
They wouldn't.
The birds I have, you know, they get used to eating dead because, you know, they do that when their parents bring them food. But the birds in the wild are looking mostly for movement. You know, they're basically looking for movement. I have heard a couple of times of people who got nesting screech owls on their property habituated to taking mice off of the stump. That's mad. I think they started with live mice. They just put a live mouse on that stump and they come, go to the edge like a domestic mouse. And once the screechers got used to coming, I'm not sure if that's a smart idea, if there's any.
Do they all have similar numbers of young?
4?
The prey birds, do they all have the same number of eggs?
No, they don't. The bigger birds tend to have fewer eggs. Screech owls and kestrels might have 5 or 6. Red-tailed hawks usually 3 or 4.
Okay. And sharpshin hawks?
Probably somewhere in between, probably 4 or 5. 4 is pretty typical for any of those big exhibitors.
Okay.
And then usually they don't all hatch, and then usually they don't all get out of the nest. 70% of all birds of prey die in their first year.
Cause?
That's typical of most birds of prey. Eagles to kestrels.
Why?
Because it's hard. Young and stupid. It's hard to learn how to hunt. It gets cold. They don't know how to survive. The first migration takes it out of them. They get driven out of the territory by older birds. It's hard.
And are there many prey birds in the city?
Oh, sure. Red-tailed hawks are relatively common suburbanly. Cooper's hawks are. All right, she's done. I'll be back.
Oh, he'll be back.
Whoever she doesn't want to be out here anymore.
Who?